Well, hello folks, welcome to the ABC Journeyman. I'm the Custard Prophet and we're back here right at the end of our second season with Bristol Rovers. We got them promoted to the Championship. An epic season. It was an amazing couple of playoffs. I think we're a bit lucky to get it, and we made the most of 2 penalty shootouts, which was ridiculous. But today we have a massive decision to make, and that's what we're going to be trying to do today. It's whether we stay here at Bristol Rovers in the Championship, or a job offer has come up, and it would be to move to another Championship club. But is it the right decision? First of all, I think we will show you the state of play here at Bristol Rovers. Then I'll show you the club that's come in, and we'll have a look at the state of play there. And hopefully by then I'll be able to make a decision at the end of it, because I have not made my mind up yet. It's really tough one, this is. It's a really tough one. I want to. Every fibre of me wants to stay at Bristol Rovers, but I know the opportunity to play at a more established Championship club gives me a better chance then of staying in the division and potentially then either getting promoted with that club, or if we do well enough, getting a job offer at a more high profile Championship club perhaps, or even a Premier League club that are sort of a little bit lower down. We've got some work to do, I think, whatever is the case. So let's have a look what I've done at Bristol Rovers in the transfer market so far. So a few players who have left the club: Alex Owen, Craig Joseph, Tristan Barker, all leaving the club, as well as Gavin Green, Thomas Barker on loan, and Dennis Callow, all players who were not really involved in the first team. So I was pretty happy with that. In terms of players in, we have made a couple of signings. Mike Lester is here for the season, so he's a young player at Villa. Looks like a decent striker option, play at the left side, the right side. So I think he's sort of the versatile player we kind of need. He is young, and with that youth comes inexperience. Is he the right player to go for? He's never played professional football. He's never been on loan anywhere else. It's a risk. It is a risk there. Goalkeeper, obviously Vidal has left, so we had to replace him. And I struck early with this one, and we spent some money. £300,000, Tom Whelan here. And I think you'll agree it's not Vidal, but it's almost. It's head and shoulders rather than Vidal Sassoon. He's a good, solid goalkeeper. One on eccentricity. I like that. He's got decent agility. As a goalkeeper, these are the stats that need to be good. Not all of those are brilliant. I'm fairly happy with that as a goalkeeper. No, I think compared, what I was expecting to get would not be as good as that. So I think he's a really solid goalkeeper. 29-year-old. We signed him from Stockport, so he was in League One. So Stockport were lower mid-table, but you can imagine that he was an important part of that. So I was really happy with that pickup. Feels like a good one. The Greek lad, who's not Greek, Athananopoulos, really speedy winger. We bought him in from AFC Wimbledon. We signed him back when we were in the Championship before. He did a good job in his first season, maybe not so good in the second season, but he's got the experience. He knows what we're all about. He's played under us, so I felt he was a good person to go for. But we were still missing a striker, we were missing a left back, and we dealt with both of those. Remy Coakley is the player that we put our money behind as a striker. We're paying him an impressive just over £10,000 a week, which is way beyond what anyone else is being paid. But I felt we needed to spend a little bit of money to get a good striker at the club. Now he's a good striker for our level. Whether he is a good striker for the Championship level is a different beast. I don't think he necessarily is going to be amazing. He's played at the Championship level before, which is important. He had a full season with Charlton, 7 goals, 39 games. And the final player brought in was Brendan Troughton, who is a speedy wing-back. His technical attributes are pretty woeful, but his physicals are pretty good. And he's got a bit of height for a full-back, but you wouldn't want him playing anywhere else but on the left side, because he can't really mark very well. His tackling's not great, and he's not very good in the air either. He's not much of a centre-back, but I think we'd be playing him on the left side, and I think he's a decent signing. Again, paying quite a bit of money for this, and this has been the problem. To get players of any quality in the club, we've had to spend wages. And whilst we got money in the bank, we've got £3 million in the bank, you can see here our wage budget is pretty much maxed out. And yes, I can transfer stuff from the transfer budget to the wage budget. I can absolutely do that. We get maybe a few £100,000 there, but maybe we get another few tens of £1,000s to play with. But you're talking about 2 or 3 additional players, and then maybe they need some maybe they need some add-ons and things like that. So we can't afford it. So I don't know. There is money to spend, but I feel we're kind of at the edge here of whether we are going to be able to spend it. So I'm a little bit concerned with that, because I don't feel, if you look through the squad, we've got some good players. That's pretty much the side I'd probably go with, other than McGinley in there. You'd have Beach probably in there, but it's not a massive squad at all. We need more bodies, and we don't really have the money to do it. That is my big worry. So that's kind of where we are with Bristol Rovers. We need more players. We've got a little bit of money to play with, but I still think we're way, way below the standard of the Championship. It feels like really very, very much like the situation we were in at AFC Wimbledon, but we managed to get the promotion ourselves. I think if we did save ourselves and we managed to stay in the league, it would be a great thing, but I don't see us progressing beyond that. So, what's the job offer, you ask? Let's go and have a look. So, here is the job offer. Coventry City have offered us £7,500 per week to take on the job of manager. We have a transfer budget of £1.4 million, a wage budget of £275,000 per week. So that, now I can't see what the situation is of how much of that's been taken up, but I mean it's more than double what we've got. It's pretty much double what we can possibly get, even if we really tweak things around, moving all of the transfer budget into the wage budget at Bristol Rovers. So we are going to get a considerable amount more money to play with. They've got a culture of using the club's youth system, signing young players, etc., not signing old players, very usual, finish in the mid-table. So it's a bit of a tricky ask. They were just below mid-table last season. And they don't really have any ambitions to improve on that. So it's just about keeping them in that mid-table. So if they are going to be a mid-table side, you feel we should be able to at least kind of get them there. And if we can bring the right players in, could we get them a little bit higher than that? And maybe in a couple of years, maybe push for a playoff position. But there's another thing here which I think does attract me to this club. If we look down at the training facilities, they have excellent training facilities. Now, this is something we don't have at Bristol Rovers. We really struggle with bringing good young players through, and it looks like they've got a decent setup to get those players through. Yes, youth recruitment needs to be improved, and that's certainly something I'd look to do as soon as I get in there. But in terms of the facilities, if we get a young gem in there, then we've got every chance of being able to kind of use them and train them up and improve them. Whereas at Bristol Rovers, I just don't think that we're going to have that. Finances are okay there, so it's not like they're massively in debt. So there's no real reason why we shouldn't go here. The problem I see is the squad itself is quite thin. There is a lot of missing players, but I'm thinking that the squad itself is going to be sufficiently, or the reputation of Coventry City itself is going to be sufficiently strong to recruit new players, quality new players at championship level, way beyond what we'll be able to do at Bristol Rovers. Obviously, if we do this, Barhones will be coming with us. That's the first signing through the door. We've got £1 million to spend. Barhones will be signing number one, unless we've got no wage budget. But if we've got no wage budget, and that's something we can't tell, I mean, it'd be nice if they could tell us this, because that's kind of, if this was maxed out the wage budget, I'd probably say no. But I'm presuming we've got a little bit more wage budget here. I mean, you know, they're all on pretty expensive contracts, it has to be said. But if you add all of that up, it's not. I think we're probably about 200, probably about 50 grand to spend in terms of wages, which isn't a lot, but yeah. So, you know, if you look at the quality player, the likes of Adam Flint, who looks like the real beating heart of this side, been there a while. Maximus Virtue, that is a great name. He's been transfer listed, so why is that? I mean, he looks like he's done all right. Looks like, I mean, that first season, 14 assists is very good, although that's League One, but he's done some good assisting in the Championship level as well. So that's what I'm left with. So some good players in there, certainly better quality players than we've got at Bristol Rovers. But do I get ruled by my heart or by my head? It's a toughie. It's a real toughie. Hardest decision I've had to make. I'll let you know what we've decided in a second. Right, folks. After lots of mulling things over, I think what I've decided to do is to accept the job at Coventry. Now, my rationale for this is really that I think the quality of players that we're going to get in here should allow us, if it's basically in the context of the save, so the ABC Journeyman save, the idea is to go as high as I can, as quick as I can, only using clubs that we've kind of unlocked in the letter cascade. So we've got unlocked A to F. I feel this is a step up from Bristol Rovers. I feel this is the biggest club, well, it is the biggest club we've ever been offered a job for. So if I don't take this and I stick with Bristol Rovers, that's more of my kind of, that's the way I like to play Football Manager, the underdog kind of pushing themselves forward. But I mean, if a manager got promoted and then they got offered the Coventry job, there's money to spend. They've got a big old wage budget. They would take it, wouldn't they? They would take it because they wanted to get to the top. I mean, we've been at Bristol Rovers a season and a half, so it's not like we're locked into that. But I did really enjoy that season and a half. It was awesome. It's not even a season and a half. It's one season and maybe about 10 games, isn't it? But we've gotten promoted. That's what we're going to do. We've got good facilities here. Be interesting to see whether there are any gems in the youth squad. I wasn't able to see that really because we've not scouted them. So it's going to be a bit of a surprise. So let's get in there. Let's see what we've got. So 2-year deal. We get a wage rise if we get promoted, or 35% wage drop. Bloody hell. Oh well. There we go. We've accepted it. Let's get in through the door. It sparked plenty of heated debate. Custard Profit had left Bristol Rovers to join divisional rivals Coventry. This is my record. 353 wins, 153 draws and 252 defeats. It's not a bad record, is it? won 3 league titles. So so immediate pressure to bring success. It wasn't really. Billy Mitchell's considered to be the favourite for the job. But, Bristol Rovers are going to be now looking for a new manager. I think this... I don't think this is one I'm going to regret. So it's a reputation, 3-star reputation, media prediction 16th. So there's work to do here. We've got a good old wage budget, decent old transfer budget. Let's see it. In fact, that seems higher than what it was, but if we might be able to tweak that. So they want us to develop players using the club's youth system, play attacking football. We've seen all this, and we agree with it all. Mid-table and be competitive in the FA Cup. That just means don't do anything stupid, doesn't it? Supporters want high tempo pressing football and attacking football. So this is, it's a big old ground, isn't it? The Rico Arena or whatever it's called now. So we've got a good amount of core fans, not much corporate, not much casual fans. What's the difference between a fair weather fan and a casual fan? Right, we're not doing anything. So basically this episode was just about this decision. I want to have a look around what we've got here, though. Now we're here, so we'll have a little bit more information. So top player here is Patrick van Rijswijk. Oh, he does look good. So what did he do last season? So he's been there for a few seasons, but yes, so absolutely he's going to be important. Phil Liddle on the other side. So we've got some good wingers here, folks. Aaron Land, presumably playing up top as the striker, although I don't think he scored. Just 4 in 33. So maybe we need a little bit more up there. Christopher Chavez. You feel maybe a ball-winning midfielder or something like that. He's got the passing and the first touch. He certainly doesn't feel like a centre-back to me. What I am noticing here, there's a distinct lack of defenders who are the better ranked players amongst here. Let's have a look in the development centre. What have we got here? So there's a couple of decent players by the look of it. Kohan Durant, who is a right winger, very, very pacey right winger. I think there's work to do there. He's not quite up to speed yet. He's been out on loan at Morecambe, and I think that's what we need to do. I think we'll send him out on loan again. And Andreas Mattisson, who is a winger on the other side, looks a solid winger, a little bit more solid, not as fast, but certainly got more technical ability. And we signed him for $525,000 from Southampton, where he's played a few Premier League appearances, but he hasn't broken into this side yet. So, the question is whether we give him a chance in the first team. I've just seen this name, Valentin N-Cube. We have to get this guy playing for us. He's a 16-year-old. Valentin N-Cube. Just brilliant. What a name. So let's have a look at the finances. Where are we? So we're spending just over £200,000. We've got about £60,000 to spend in terms of the wage budget. So you feel there's a good few players that we can bring in there. That'll be good. Is the schedule set up? When are we playing Bristol Rovers? If we've been to Bristol Rovers, we've had the Bristol Derby, wouldn't we? Which would have been something. So we'll obviously come back for the Rovers game, but we'll play. I think we'll play. Certainly we'll play Preston first up. Something in here, probably an away game, maybe Blackpool, and then home against Bristol Rovers as the first few games, or maybe because we want to sort of move on fairly quickly, don't we? But that's where we're sort of starting off. You can see we did have a lot of money here. Got £4 million in the bank. So if we fiddled around with the budget, or the wage budget's maxed out that direction. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder whether they will straight away improve youth. No, they're not. No, they don't want to do that. Improved youth recruitment. There we go. They want us to use the youth, but we need to be able to improve it. So, yeah, there's players that we need to bring in. We need to work out whether some of these players do need to still be at this club. The likes of Julius Oka, who is 26-year-old. Is he a decent enough central midfielder? Doesn't look too bad, really. I mean, you feel he could offer something. He was away in Nigeria recently, so we could give him a chance coming back. So Phil Hallett, again, striker with no finishing ability. Yeah, you feel that might be someone. He's never really done it anywhere, has he? I think maybe we'll let him move on. Who wants him? Load of clubs on loan. And Fraser Dansby, who's that's just a waste, isn't it? I don't really like that. I think he's 21. I don't think he's going to get any better. I think we'll let him go as well. We want to make this place a real fortress. So we've got some work to do. I think we'll have to get some loans in. Definitely some loans from the big clubs. I think we're coming in at the right time to be able to do that. Excited about the challenge. Let me know what your thoughts are going forward. Need to set up a tactic, all those sort of things. Oh, lots to do. I'll see you in the next one then, folks. If you enjoyed the episode, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you very shortly. Goodbye.